5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly media roundup. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyden. The show, 5:45 Live. Now on deck tonight, controversy for the Cannabis Collaborative as they hosted a downtown forum this week. The Police Fire Project has promised a full reboot from the town manager's office, what that means for the existing bond, local tax rate, and more. And we'll get former U.S. Ambassador Peter Galbraith's take on the Iran nuclear agreement as he kicks off the Wyndham World Affairs Council's Hot Off the Press lecture series. All that plus a robust weekend of calendar coverage and much more. So if you've got the time and the attention span, stick with us right here on 5:45 Live. Breaking news report here. I'm standing just outside the display case for precious gems and medallions at Brooks Memorial Library, and a priceless medallion was just stolen last night from this very display case. And I know I speak for more than just myself when I say I hope this is one crime that's solved quickly. Welcome back to this July 30th, 2015 summer edition of 5:45 Live as we broadcast from the third floor BCTV studio. Now, that's a look at the news report. Fictitious news report, just in case it needed any clarifying, recorded by BCTV as part of Brooks Memorial Library's Super Sleuths Crime Solvers event, as local youths descended on the library to help collect clues, review alibis, and eliminate a series of supervillain suspects in the case of the missing medallion. Now, Super Sleuths was just one of a bevy of local events for youth hosted at Brooks Memorial Library, as they've pulled out all the stops for their summer reading program series of events, including the grand finale to their Local Hero series this past Saturday, as local heroes from the fire department, police department, rescue, Green Mountain Power, and others were on hand in this very 230 Main Street parking lot to meet with area youth about their work in the community and demo their vehicles for a group of delighted youngsters. Hardworking BCTV volunteer James Banslaman for getting some of that footage of the Local Heroes event hosted by Brooks Memorial Library. All right, now, as promised, into the top headlines we go, and we'll start by talking marijuana. As this week, area cannabis growers showed up at the River Garden in downtown Brattleboro this week to give their 2 cents on proposed legislation to legalize recreational use and production. Legislation that Wyndham County Senator Jeanette White hopes will pass the legislature in the coming session, something she was on hand to talk about, along with members of the advocacy groups Vermont Cannabis Collaborative and Vermont Homegrown, as they seek to establish a baseline for regulations for those looking to sell cannabis for recreational use.
This topic tonight is not should we legalize or shouldn't we legalize. The topic is if and when we legalize, how should we do it? Legalize and regulate.
Thanks to Joe Bushy for getting footage from the River Garden. That's a program that's going to show in its entirety right here on BCTV Channel 8 in the coming week. You can find a schedule of when it's going to play on the Comcast cable channel airwaves, and of course find it to stream at its entirety at brattleboro.tv.org. All right, next up, one-time Wyndham County Senator and former U.S. Ambassador Peter Galbraith was in Brattleboro last Friday to help kick off the Wyndham World Affairs Council's brand new series dubbed Hot Off the Press, with a lecture entitled The Iran Nuclear Agreement, Why It's Good for America and How It May Change the Middle East, as Galbraith broke down the details of an agreement that he says is, quote, better than expected.
I think it's a very important point. It's different from a decision actually to make nuclear weapons. It is different to have the capability from actually going ahead, enriching uranium to 93%, building the components, and all of that. It's two different things.
You can watch Peter Galbraith as he kicks off the Wyndham World Affairs Council's Hot Off the Press series. There's an excerpt of it, about 9 minutes, with Peter as he kicked off this debut event for the council at The Space, 118 Elliott Street. That video is up at BrittleBoroTV.org right now as we speak, and it'll show this coming week on BCTV Comcast Channel 8 as well. All right, we'll move on here, and for that, it's time to head into our Commons News Report as we check in with Brattleboro's weekly independent newspaper, The Commons, to touch base with a headline article here, and for that, I'm going to do what all of you can do out there and go to commonsnews.org. And check out all of their offerings in digital form. You can also pick up a paper as they hit newsstands for free each and every Wednesday around town. And of course, community-minded citizens can also pick up a paid subscription to help keep this paper afloat, this valuable community media resource. Today, our focus is a piece penned by Commons reporter Olga Peters entitled Police Fire Facilities Project Goes Back to the Drawing Board. The subtitle Town Manager announces intent to refine the project to find efficiencies. Now, this is an article about the highly controversial police fire project. Now, we've got some quotes here from this article, including, under the board's direction, Elwell started reviewing the three-building project earlier this year, shortly after he started working for the town. According to January 28th minutes of the Police Fire Facility Committee, Elwell told the committee that the Select Board had voted to pursue relocating the police station to Putney Road. Staff would pursue the next steps. Now, the article goes on to say that a lot of this work has been done in executive session because talking about purchasing new real estate, and so the confidentiality of those real estate moves has been kept confidential in executive session, but there is nothing final yet. That's info from Select Board Chair David Gardenstein. You can find all the details in that full article. Again, commonsnews.org. You can find that piece. All right, with that, time to move on here. As this coming month, the Brattleboro Union High School Board is expected to vote in official changes to their dress code that would remove any mention of gender where expectations of proper dress are concerned, with BOHS Principal Steve Perrin telling the Reformer's Howard Weiss-Tisman this week that, quote, there are more opportunities to find a violation with a female student with the old code. Now, the new code will replace mentions of specific articles of clothing, such as halter tops and skirts, with policy prohibiting transparent and or torso-exposing clothing, just to name a few of the changes. Now, for residents who care to weigh in on the changes, the board's regular meeting, held Monday, August 17th, begins at 7 p.m. at the Cusick Conference Room in the Career Center. And of course, BCTV will be on hand to provide video documentation of the full meeting, gavel to gavel as well. All right, next up, it's time for our I-91 bridge update. As this week, construction officials say roughly 15 different instances of blasting, averaging around 10 minutes each per blast, will be needed for this phase of construction to continue. These blasts will require clear lanes on the remaining span of the old bridge, something I-91 commuters can expect rolling roadblocks throughout the week to accomplish. Now, according to officials, noise from the blasts for commuters and residents alike in the area should be fairly minimal. Now, for more details, you can check the weekly I-91 bridge construction updates at I-91BrattleBoroBridge, all one word.com. All right, with that, it's time to launch into our BCTV video calendar. This is all sponsored by the Brattleboro Savings and Loan, as their generous contributions to BCTV each year help fund a weekly look here on 545 Live at the weekend's upcoming events. And we'll start actually with a quick look ahead to next week as New England Youth Theater gets set for opening night of Urinetown. That'll be August 7th, with shows running through the 15th. There'll be Tuesday to Friday 7 p.m. showings and 2 p.m. matinees on Saturdays. And in more immediate calendar news, as we look to this here weekend, Grace Cottage gets set to host their 65th annual Hospital Day on the Townsend Common. And here's a brief quote from their official press release. Free admission, free parking, 22 bargain booths, live auction, entertainment, foods of all types, and the famous birthday parade. It's fun for all ages. Again, the Grace Cottage Hospital's 65th Annual Hospital Day. All right, that just about does it here for another edition of 545 Live. Good to be back in BCTV's downtown studios. Be sure to check in with us next week right here on 545 Live as we get ready for another broadcast. That'll be a week from today, next Friday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on BCTV Comcast Channel 8. In the meantime, thanks for watching.
Welcome to the Superhero Crime-Solving event. We need your help to discover who stole the medallion out of the display case. Make sure you read all of the information very closely to catch the villain or villains behind this caper.
In case you don't know, the medallion is vital to maintain the powers of many of the local superheroes, including Gotcha Guy, EBB, and the Great Gal Quartet. They share the medallion and use it to replenish their lost power source.